All right, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy Scatter by Nature. This is my girl here, my girl from a long, long time, you guys, Bundy Blue, and we are here to see who was wrong.
Well, that's cute.
Yeah, shout out to Josiah because he made it, child. So shout out to him.
Yes,
but
Josiah.
Yes. So today on Who Was Wrong, me and my girl Bundy, we're gonna go into a love and marriage Huntsville feud. And this was different because everybody else chose like a love and hip hop feud or a housewives feud or a basketball wives feud. But she was probably the only one that chose a love and marriage Huntsville feud. And she has more knowledge about this feud because she's watched it from the very beginning. So in this particular Who Was Wrong, I'm gonna follow her lead. She's gonna start from the very beginning up until now, and we're gonna have our back and forth about it on who was wrong. So Bundy, I'm gonna let you start this thing off. So how did this feud between LaTisha and Mel start?
First of all, I forgot about this portion until I watched that little clip. So I knew the exact moment in the sit down from season one where Tisha and Mel sat down and they were discussing things. And then Tisha started talking about the BMW. I remember that moment. And I also
Mhm.
remember that I felt like Mel was trying not to say things and Tisha was just like making these little slick comments. And so eventually it was just like, okay, well, roll around to the bar. You know what I'm saying? Roll around to the bar. But this all started because of fucking Martell. Martell. I want to say Marceau, but it's Martell and Marceau. This started because of Martell. Martell is the one that was going around saying that Marceau had 20 girlfriends. So
Mhm.
Tisha comes to Mel about what Martell is saying because Mel and Martell have decided to stay together. Now
Mhm.
she's doing the united front for my man thing in a moment, but really she didn't start that rumor and she wasn't the one that actually put that out there. Martell was. And so they sit down and have this conversation and Tisha is like, so why wouldn't you tell me if something was going on in my marriage? And she was like, listen, you wouldn't believe me if I told you anyway. So that's why I wouldn't tell you. You can just roll around to the bar and find out for yourself about what's going on with your husband, but it's not my place to tell you what's going on with your husband, okay?
Mhm.
And then Tisha said, well, just because your husband cheated on you doesn't mean that my husband is unfaithful, because I don't believe that my husband is unfaithful, which we all know is a bald-faced lie, because I mean we are what, season 4 and she's still
Yeah.
asking questions today. So you feel like you, to me, if you have every year for the past 3 to 4 years or probably longer have had to ask about your husband's fidelity either to him or to the people around you, you don't trust him. So stop
Mhm.
saying that you do, because she just said last episode that she trusts him. And it's the same thing she said the first season, and I didn't believe her then, and I don't believe her now. So she blames Mel. But the truth of the matter is, Martell is the one that started the rumor. And I do believe that Mel gets joy at this point. Maybe not joy, but just like a, like a
Right.
cackle, maybe, a giggle, if you will. Because at the end of the day, Tisha, did you come to Mel and tell Mel about what was going on, even though you had information about Ariane beforehand and you didn't say anything because you didn't
Mm.
want to upset Marcel, right? Like she knew, and she never said anything. And so you turn around and you're going at Mel about what Martell is saying. And then when she starts to fight back, now everybody wants to act like Mel is the mean girl, when the truth of the matter is Tisha started it. Outside of that, Mel started to not like Tisha because Tisha asked Mel for help on how to get Marceau to allow her to be a stay-at-home mom. Well, first of all, don't be with a nigga you got to ask for permission from. Let's start there. But outside of that, Mel said, I'm going to give you the blueprint on how you get him to do what you need him to do. Okay. Tisha soaks up advice, then goes to Kimmy's and says, can you believe this girl? She gonna tell me that she got the blueprint. I was like, girl, can you believe her? She got the blueprint. I don't need anybody to tell me. And it was just like, but you asked her for the help. also that you could turn around and talk shit about her later. So I honestly feel as if Tisha has always been a little jealous of Mel. I think that everybody thought Mel was going to crumble when she decided to divorce Martell. And I think now that that has not happened, everybody is like continuously upset with Mel. Mel does petty shit. Don't get me wrong. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
inviting Kiki to her house this last episode. That was
Mm-hmm.
some petty shit. But ultimately, I feel like it's no different than you being in your hotel room and hearing your supposed friend and your ex friend talking about how you're a hoe. Because, you know, that Scorpio comment, now that I've sat and thought about it, I'm like, oh, talking about males of Scorpio. And you know what they say about Scorpios? You know, Tyree said it.
Yeah.
So it just makes me feel like y'all were saying like something about her in a sexual manner, which is why nobody wants to repeat what was exactly said that Mel overheard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think Tisha, especially when you look at Wanda and you know, you just look at her upbringing, I feel as if Tisha is jealous of Mel. She's insecure, and it's easier to be mad at Mel than to be mad at the men around you.
Okay, so listening to this, let me ask you this. So when before that particular, I guess, lunch or meetup that they had about the situation, was Tisha, because I do, because like I said, I'm still looking at season one just to get caught up on certain things because there's certain things I did not know. So did LaTisha, was it because, did the beef start mainly because LaTisha was basically talking about the infidelity with Martell and Mel and making comments about it, and Melody must have come back and was like, well, to be honest, you shouldn't be talking about me and mine because you got your own skeletons. Your man out here sleeping with this one and that one, but you talking about mine.
It was
That's
it was kind of like that because it really was Marceau and okay, so I don't know if you've seen this part yet, but they threw them an anniversary party.
mm-hmm,
Marceau and Tisha threw Mel and Martell like some anniversary party. They picked them up in a limo. Everybody's all dressed up. Mel and Martell are obviously at odds at this point. And Marceau and Tisha are talking about the infidelity at, you know, in the limo at this party that's supposed to be about helping their marriage, and they were kind of like joking and laughing about it. And I think that was the moment when both Martell and Mel got pissed off. But Martell is the one that took that moment and went into the 20 girlfriends. So
hold
I,
on, wait a minute, Blondie. Hold up, wait a minute. It's like I can hear you, but your screen is moving slow.
I oh
I thought that was just me, but it's like your screen. Okay, say something now.
okay, saying something now.
Yeah, it's like your screen is behind, but I can hear you
It's a
clearly. But
lag.
yeah, it's a
It's a
lag.
lag. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold up. Give me a second.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Is that better?
Let's
Let's
see.
because I, you know, if it's not better, then maybe
It's a
we can
little.
just
It's a little bit better than it was. Yeah, it's a little
okay.
bit better. Okay, now it's
Okay.
better. Now y'all in sync now. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, good.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'll just go back. So I think it was more so that Martell has said it. So I don't know if you have seen this scene yet in
Yeah.
season one,
Hmm.
but Mel and Martell had an anniversary. Tisha and Marceau put together this anniversary party to help them stay together. And they're in the limo and they're laughing. Marceau and Tisha kind of laughing and joking about the cheating rumors. And
Hmm.
it did not sit well with Mel or Martell. And that's when Martell started the 20 girlfriends rumors. And so then, you know, Mel, I'm sure, feeling the need to stand behind her man and feeling slighted by Tisha as well, because Tisha at the time was doing little slick shit. Like I said before, you
Hmm.
go and meet with Mel and ask for her help, and then you go and talk about her to Kimmy about how extra she is and how much she's on social media and all of that shit. But that was the stuff that actually helped y'all get this show. And now
Right.
everybody's eating off of Mel and Mel's personality and what Mel has been able to do. So it's funny to me that everybody has always picked her apart while simultaneously eating off her table.
Mm. Oh, that's a good one. picking her apart by eating off her table, being that she's the one who brought the show. That's true. That is true. Okay, so when it comes down to that particular sit down, in your opinion, do you think that, because for me, because I've seen that scene many times. So for me, it's like this with Mel. It's like, okay, when she asks you the stuff about is he cheat, like I know that he's not cheating, and then Mel said, well, how do you know it's not true? And then it's like, for me, it's like this. I'd rather, for a person, like, if you got something that you feel like I need to know, just go ahead and say it, even if it is. But I feel like Mel was only saying all of that to fuck with her, in a sense.
Mm,
Like, I'm finna be petty, so I'm finna fuck with you. I'm finna hold this shit over your goddamn head, so you can sit and suck in it. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been talking shit about me, and you've been talking shit about my husband, and you've been talking about these cheating allegations and everything that I've been going through in my marriage. But yet I hear from my man, who probably been pillow talking with me, that Marcel got his own bitches out there, but you sitting up here talking about my man and the bitch that he got out there. So
hmm
you think that at that particular moment, Mel was having like this petty or vindictive moment where it was kind of like, I'm finna
Sure,
hold this shit over her head. You know what
sure.
I'm saying? Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like who wouldn't? Like I'm very I'm very like the people who are like usually anti-male, they'll be like, Mel did this and I don't understand why Mel is doing this to Tisha. And then you like take it back. It's like, well, Tisha kind of did a lot of little things to get Mel to this point, and now Mel is doing shit like inviting her cousin to the house and getting tea on her from her cousin and all of this shit. Like, yeah, but that was only after you pretended to be her friend so that you can get help from her, and then you kind of laughed at her pain.
Yeah.
So ultimately, any pettiness or any bitchiness that Mel has towards Tisha, okay, like I'm not I'm sorry, I don't know what women would be cool with a woman after like those types of things. So first of all, if we cool like that, can you explain to me why, if you had information, you never gave me a heads up? I had to find out about this shit because that whole called my phone when you could have gave me a heads up and saved me from that part of it, but you
Yeah.
didn't. Okay. So that shit aside, then once it all comes out, you pretend like you're trying to help us stay together, but then you got us in a limo and you're laughing about it. You're making your comments. I honestly think that Tisha felt like Mel getting cheated on meant that she was better than Mel. I think she's
Mm.
constantly been in a place of comparing herself to Mel and wanting to be like Mel or better than Mel. So when it comes out that, oh, you thought you had the blueprint, but he cheating on your ass. I think that's how Tisha was treating Mel when the whole thing came out. But then, girl, I was just coming to check on you, like just real fake and fugazi. And I think that Mel figured that out. And to be honest, I feel like Tisha continues to prove herself as somebody that's low key obsessed with Mel, because if I don't like somebody and I don't fool with them, I'm not about to keep having conversations where I pretend to make up with them just so I can hit them with it again later on.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not going to go out of my way to befriend somebody who I know is only befriending me because they now have beef with the person that I have beef with. Like, you got too much time on your hands. If you reaching out to me now, you wasn't reaching out to me before. You wasn't cool with me before, but now you want to be cool with me because you have an issue with Mel?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what Destiny's doing. So I
Mm.
just, and that's also what Destiny is doing with Martell. Oh, you going to drop baby all off and go act like you ain't trying to fuck with him. Ugh, cover your chest up so I can talk bad about your ex-wife with you. Like,
I definitely didn't agree with that because I said that on my review. I actually gave them all the business on the last review that I did. So I definitely agree with that. So now I'm going to tell you this. You just gave me some information that I did not know about. See, I never knew that Tisha knew about Ariane all that time and never told Mel about it. I never
so
knew that.
Pete, Tisha knew about the Atlanta trip.
Oh, okay.
So if Tisha knew about the Atlanta trip and Marceau told her what was going on at the Atlanta trip, that means that you knew about the girl before. And I
Mm.
also think, now that I'm thinking about it, that's the reason why she went to Kimmy and was like, "Oh, girl, she gonna tell me she got the blueprint." Probably because y'all had been talking about the rumors that y'all heard about Martell. Now that we know that they knew. Like we know before the show came
Yeah.
out that they knew that Martell was cheating on Mel, and they were hoping that that shit wouldn't come out on the show. And then Mel plops it down in front of everybody, like not, And I think Mel did that because Mel felt like they knew and nobody had told her. So
Mm-hmm.
that was because in that moment she was kind of going at everybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, I definitely feel like Tisha knew and never gave Mel any type of heads up because it would have pissed off Marceau.
Okay. So do you think at any point that they were ever really friends? Or do you think it was just a surfaced type of relationship?
No, I think they were really friends at one point because nobody hands out money. Nobody like helps people. And from what we understand, at some point, Mel and Martell were financially of help to Tisha and Marceau. And
Mm,
I'm sorry, but nobody gives out money to people if they don't really fuck with them.
which is true, which is absolutely true. Okay. Have another question. Okay, so when they call themselves making up, I think at the end of that second season, which is when I first started watching like that second half of the second season, when they all banded together after Mel asked him to sign the papers or whatever, they all came together and then it was kind of like, okay, we're going to be cool, whatever. Do you think that they were, do you think that there was ever really a chance for them to really be friends again after everything that happened? Because, sometimes things can happen, we can get over it, we can get past it, and then we can really move on. But then there's some situations it's like, okay, I'm over it, I forgive you for whatever, but I'm still gonna look at you like I see you, whatever.
Yes and no. Yes
Okay.
and no. Because I feel like if Tisha had decided she didn't want to be with Marceau anymore, I think Tisha and Mel definitely could have rekindled their friendship and could have been better friends. But
Mm-hmm.
because LaTisha wants to hold on to the idea that everybody's lying except for Marceau,
Mm-hmm.
I think that she naturally is not going to allow herself to get to that place with Mel. And I honestly wonder if it's because she's secretly a jealous hearted person in that way. And people can argue me down with this, but if you look at Wanda, you look at the materialism, you look at how Tisha only cares about how things look, and we can see that Tisha is dying on the inside from looking at her eyes, and she's sitting in front of us telling us that nobody cares about what those people are saying. Girl, you are in there dying on the inside, and everybody can see it. Every scene, we can see you about to cry and just trying barely not to. So I feel like it's because she has to hold on to no, my marriage is okay and it's not happening. If she were to allow Mel in, then I think Mel would influence her to realize that she really is in the same boat. All of them are. And I think we realized that with the more recent Kimmy situation, when
Mm-hmm.
Kimmy moved her goalpost. At the end of the day, if Kimmy had found out about Maurice and any woman before they got married, they probably wouldn't have gotten married.
That's
But
true.
because they already got married, nobody's going to unwrap their lives for that. And I think they may have come to like an understanding, but that also makes me look at the situation with Marceau and Tisha. They have an understanding as well. It may not be one that's easy for the women to be happy in because Kimmy needed an emotional support pet. and Tisha, like I said, is a Mary J. Blige album every time I see her. So
She said a Mary J. Blige album.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna shed no
Oh
tears.
my god, that is funny as fuck.
She is. Every time I see her, she's so beautiful, and that's why it's so upsetting because you feel like she's so young, she's so beautiful, but she's like that, that country woman mindset make her believe that she can't do any better. That Marceau is in his thick hips are a catch, and so she should just deal with somebody who treats her badly in every capacity. Like he doesn't seem to be sexually into her like that. It'd be different if he was cheating on you, but he still wanted to fuck you. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like almost like Mel's situation where even though he was doing what he was doing, he was still sleeping with Mel.
Yeah,
They
he
like
was.
it wasn't until Mel decided to stop sleeping with him that they stopped screwing. But
Yes.
Mel and Ariane were pregnant at the same time. So he never stopped physically being into his wife. He just wanted to also have the outside chick because she made him feel good about himself. In the times when Mel couldn't pay attention to him and whatever else, he wanted his little outside thing, and he wanted to be able to keep his wife, and it just couldn't work out like that for him. Marceau, on the other hand, comes off like, I don't even know if you like Tisha because you laugh at Tisha's pain and shit. Like, you're never really that nice to Tisha. Like, never. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him really say nice things to her. It's only when her accomplishments are a testament to their accomplishments,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask one more question and then we're gonna close. Well, one more question regarding Tisha and Marceau's marriage, and then I'm gonna ask you one last question after that to close this whole thing off.
Okay.
So, when it comes down to Tisha and Marceau's marriage, Miss Wanda comes into play for me because she is quick to question him, ask him a bunch of questions, trying to bust him out on certain things. But even though she does all of that, and this is what I think. So I'm asking you, do you think the same? Do you think that even though Miss Wanda does that, she would still convince Tisha to stay with him, regardless of what he may be doing or could be doing? Because let's not forget that just last season she had the same conversation with Mel. I think that you and Martell could get back together. She's
Oh,
one of those
yeah.
women that feels that got that Betty Wright ass mentality that I can have, you
Having
know,
a piece of man is
piece
better
of
than
a man
having
is
no
better
man
than
at
a,
all.
yeah, she got
But
that
what I got
Betty
to
Wright
work with it.
ass shit. And
Yeah.
so do you think that she would still try to push her to still be with Marcel regardless of what he has done?
Yes, I do. And also, this is the thing that people don't realize. A lot of women like being in relationships with men that hurt them so that those men can always be sorry for something. Like,
Mm,
you enjoy having to make him pay for your pain. And I think that the way Tisha comes off is materialistic and feeling that her love language is somebody buying her shit, even
mm-hmm.
though I feel like a woman who seems void of love for herself, really, most of all, can really know what her love language is. Because if that was the only love language you needed, you wouldn't look so fucking sad. And you wouldn't be asking your husband for validation all the time. Like, she looks for validation from him all, like, whatever, like, she looks up at him during the confessionals and everything.
She
So
does. She
I feel like
does.
she's been trained to stay no matter what. And I think Wanda would enjoy using whatever Marceau is guilty of to get things out of him, to get more money out of him, to get a trip out of him, to get a car out of him, because that's the happily ever after for them. A man being able to pay for things. They don't care about being treated well. They don't care about him being faithful. They don't care about the emotional support of the relationship. All they care is that financially he can pay for things and that he will not embarrass you in public. I think that's the only thing that makes Wanda tap in, is Wanda doesn't like how the public humiliation affects the way Tisha looks. And that's the funny part about a nigga like Marceau. Because if he really loved Tisha, he would be trying to protect her in some capacity. And I just don't see that protection. You don't answer questions straight up. You
Mm-mm.
never just dead things so Tisha can feel better. And I feel like I don't know what type of husband that just never tries to make his wife feel better about something that is, really fucked up, if you ask me. Like, a whole bunch of people commenting on your relationship all the time.
That's facts. That's true. So to round this whole thing off, the ultimate question is who was wrong in this whole feud between LaTisha and Mel? Was it LaTisha? Was it Mel? Or is it a draw?
It's a draw.
Okay, it's a draw.
I'm gonna be
It's a
real and say it's a draw, because I
mm-hmm.
feel like if I'm looking for from Tisha's point of view, it's still hurtful for my friend to sit in my face and tell me, hey, I guess you better go around there and find out, girl. You know? So I do feel like, Mel has said things and maybe, jeered and drew the attention towards Marceau and her more often than not. And yeah, I can get how that can be so problematic for her, and Mel is being petty and, misery loves company, all of that shit. Yeah, okay. So I'll give it the draw. But real, real shit. Like, come on, Tisha. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
Tisha.
yeah, because now it's like they're doing the tit for tat thing now. Now they're both doing things to each other now. It's just kind of like, yeah. One person ain't worse than the other one at this point. Y'all both at a draw now. Both of y'all doing this now. So it's just
It's
like,
yes, we're just bumping heads at this point. And it's
yeah.
really about just who you like more. And
Yeah.
because I don't like the way LaTisha um fakes in my face and acts like she's not hurt when she is, and I don't like that she protects her husband even though he doesn't protect her. So I don't like her as much. I respect Mel because Mel stands up for herself. And regardless to what anybody says, Mel has definitely turned all of this into so much like so many blessings for herself that will continue on outside of the show. And I respect the hustle.
Yeah, I can say that. She has pretty much got a career of this. Like she put out every song she put out is always in the top 5 of the iTunes and stuff like that. So she has been able to take the platform and do something more with it versus everybody else. So yeah, so I can definitely agree with that,
And she's a
regardless of
great
how.
interview. She's a
Yeah.
great interview. She always, I feel like I have interviewed a lot of people now with the Ooh Ladies First panel. And she's one of the only people that they know how to interview. They don't want to, they don't need a list of the questions. Just
Mhm.
fire them off. And she knows how to either give you an answer or give you something that's not an answer that lets you know, let's just move on to the next question because she's not going to give you an answer. And
Yeah,
I
right,
appreciate that because people want to dictate what the interviews look like, how many questions and what's being said and what's being asked and what am I going to look like. And a lot of the times they're not even to me as valuable of an interview. And they still have all of these, and that's no disrespect to anybody, but for instance, like the Ready to Love shows and all of those types of shows where you're just like a one hitter quitter. Once your season
right.
is over, people don't really care as much. And they know that. So when they act, and all these, oh, we want to know what the questions are, and my image and all of this. And you get somebody like Mel that is now really worked herself into the framework over there at OWN, in a whole bunch of different ways. We're going to be seeing more of her moving forward. It's not just one season and it's over. So I feel like for her to be a better interview just shows like how much she built for this shit. Like for real.
She does give good interviews. I will agree with that because a lot of her interviews are very informative. So, I may not like a lot of her ways and stuff like that, but in regardless of any of that, she's a great interviewer. And like we just said, she's taken the platform and did something with it. You know what I mean? And the rest should follow suit. That's all I can say.
So you gonna call Wanda, huh? You need to
Yeah.
go ahead and get Wanda on your channel, boy. I don't know what you over there doing, but Wanda didn't already.
Jamie literally just said that to me last night when we was doing it. She literally
Yes,
said that, and I told her, I said, "Listen, if you want to sit, like I do it." And I said, if you or Bundy or anybody else over there, like Niecy and Jay Lee, if y'all got any questions y'all want me to ask her, I definitely ask them. I did say that, like,
listen. I just want to show up with my popcorn, baby. Okay. I just want to show up and hear the accents and, and see what the spritz gave. And I just want to see
oh,
how it's going to go. But I definitely am looking forward to you posting whenever that happens.
well, now that you have said it too, Jamie said it, Josiah said it, you said it, Terrence said it. It's like everybody's saying it, so I might as well go on
But
and
get
do it.
Miss Wanda on the line. She already know who you are. Get Miss Wanda on the line, Scotty.
I
Okay.
would definitely do that. I'm talking to you for a few minutes after this is over, but thank
Okay.
you for that. I'll talk to you about that. But thank you guys for tuning in to Who Was Wrong. I want to thank Bundy for coming on here with me. This was fun.
It was.
You know what? All of these have been fun that I've done so far.
It's a good
I'm gonna tell you
idea.
who. I'm gonna tell you who else I've done it with after I end this.
Okay.
But this was fun. So it's always fun doing something with you anyway. So you know how much I love you anyway, girl. So it
I
is
love
what
you
it is.
too.
So but thank you guys for tuning in. And Bunny, if you will, let them know where they can find you and what you got coming up.
You can find me on bondyblueshow.com. That is my website. You can also find me on YouTube, Bondy Blue. I am Bondy Blue on TikTok. I am Bondy Blue on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All Bondy Blue, one word. Look for me.
All right, you guys, and that is it. And we are out of here. See y'all later.